Here's what happens. You discharge the spell. You fire the gun. You smell the components burst into the air, that burning sensation that lets you know the magic was consumed. And your spell slot is gone. And you're expecting to see this brilliant purple explosion and the fairy fire take shape. What actually happens is you watch the world warp in this bizarre spatial way. Things bend in on themselves. And you feel yourself going through the motions of loading the gun and taking aim, and then bursting through the front door of the kennel, and then laying in bed and hearing Scrappy wake you up. And you realize you're back in your own room with the gun that's been fired. The spell slot's still gone. But none of that has happened yet. And as you're laying there, you hear the door of the kennel burst. And this time, when you try to give chase, you don't see the shape. Make an Arcana check.
Do I see the other two out there when I get out there?
Yeah, the same lightning strike at the same time. You've relived the same moment twice.
That's a 22 on Arcana.
Whatever this thing is, it's doing weird shenanigans with the space-time continuum. It can warp space and time. It has literally just sent you back a few moments in time to before when you woke up. You have all of those memories from this little loop, and you have discharged the spell, but on the second pass of the loop, the shape knew where not to be.
Was I wet from going outside when I got back in my bed?
No.
When it started over?
You were not.
Okay.
Lucius, give me a stealth check at advantage. DC is 5.
Let's see if I can beat that. That'll be hilarious.
It will be hilarious.
Oh, that's a 19 on dice, so probably not. Yeah.
Aylesbury heads out into the yard, and you see him fumble with something, and you realize he's fumbling with the 2 daggers, and he's kind of using them as a makeshift shovel in the mud and the dirt. He's trying to pick a patch of dirt that's not submerged in a puddle, and he drops trow, and he lets loose. I'm not going to describe it. I'll just leave it there.
I need more details.
Of course,
he doesn't describe that. Okay. Mutilated cats, sure.
I did not. I just said I didn't describe them. I just said they were mutilated.
I'm fucking with you.
It's okay. Scrappy's still guarding the cats.
Speaking of cats, do you want my Treston to make a stealth check?
The familiar was doing what?
It was following him.
Following Aylesbury?
Aylesbury, yeah.
I'm assuming it's flying, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm not worried about it. He's so preoccupied with his belly problems.
His bubble guts.
So that leaves Gus inside the house, right?
Right.
Seeker.
Again.
Yeah.
You've doubled back, coming towards the kennel, correct?
Yeah, and I'm really sorry about this, Brickard, but the fastest way for me to get back there is on a quasi-real horse-like creature.
Okay. As you're riding your quasi-real horse-like creature, the second alarm goes off.
What the frick? Oh, the one in the room?
Yes.
So I don't hear that one. That one just goes off in the room as though like someone rang a bell in the room.
Gus, you hear a sequence of noises from your room. First, you hear a ringing of a bell. Then, you hear savage noises followed by screaming. And then you hear a loud crash from outside the window. All this takes place in the span of just a few seconds.
Huh? Gus is going to start banging on the door.
You bang on the door.
Oh no, are you okay?
There's no response on the other side of the door.
Oh no, who could have foreseen these dire circumstances? I guess I will just sit in here and wait for somebody to come let me out.
Florian.
I'm going to sit back down.
You're woken up in your room from the screaming and ringing noises upstairs.
Florian hops on out. Goes in here. Yep. Goes in here. That's right. And goes upstairs.
Okay. And Lucius, how close are you getting to Aylesbury while he's evacuating?
I'm not gonna get that close, and then probably can I hear the screams and stuff?
No, not from outside. In fact, as you're standing here, the storm is getting worse and worse.
Lucius would probably realize it's about the time for shit to start going down, so he's going to actually.
Oh,
he is going to make
shit's
it back
going
to the-
down into the hole.
I mean, I walked.
How much of this can I make out from where I am?
When there's a lightning strike, you can see Aylesbury and Lucius very clearly.
I'm gonna keep my eye on Aylesbury. I still, having been dead, I'm not entirely sure what his deal was yet last loop, but
Okay. Lucius.
I'm gonna cast Fly,
Okay.
and with my ability to see up to 120 feet in darkness,
Okay.
I want to get toward that area as quickly as I possibly can.
What area?
The area outside of the murder suite.
So, you mean you're going to circle back around the front of the house towards the window? Okay.
Yeah.
You start flying in that direction. Seeker and Alex.
Mhm.
Yeah.
From your position, Seeker. Oh, I'm sorry, your quasi-real horse-like creature can't fit through the hole in the back of the fence.
He's gonna jump it.
No, too
He's got
high.
100 speed.
Are you sneaking back into the fence?
I'm going to try to chase after the creature once it pops out of the window.
Okay. With a flash of lightning, then, both of you see what happens to Aylesbury. There's a loud crash as something lands next to him in the mud. And you see him get pulled up off the ground for a moment. His features are clear. The creature, I guess that's what we're going to call it, are not. Very hazy. You don't see him be grabbed up by vicious claws or by strong arms. Just a vague kind of shape. Maybe like the smoke monster from Lost. And only for a moment before he's dropped back down and splatters into a mud puddle next to where he was doing his thing.
Is it possible to get a shot off on the creature while that's happening with my
Sure.
with my gun?
Let's roll some initiative. Seeker, you can roll lemons too if you want.
Probably just gonna send me back in time again, but whatever.
Ah,
It's a 22.
nice.
24.
Seeker, you go first.
All right. I am going to attempt to web the creature.
Attempt to web. What's the range on web?
The range on web is 60 feet. And I don't need to have line of sight. It's just a point of my choice within range.
Okay. You're not gonna be able to cast a spell without webbing Aylesbury. Is that the?
That's fine.
We don't care about Aylesbury at all.
No, if I can get the creature, that's good enough for me.
Okay. The webs grab up in the area, and that's gonna bring us to Alex.
Again, pull a ruined bullet off of my belt, load it into my gun. This is a branding smite,
Okay.
and take a shot.
What does branding smite do?
Fire damage?
That hits an armor class of not great.
Not great. What did it hit?
Hits an armor class of 11.
11. And he's not restrained by the web until he fails a dex save. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I've got a second shot.
Okay.
There we go. That hits at 24.
It's 24. Aiming the first time, not really aware what Seeker is about to do, kind of throws you off. The second shot, you're pretty sure you've lined up dead to rights. And then the same thing happens again. That same sensation. That same warping. Except this time, Seeker, you experience it too. You experience going backwards, casting the web spell, and then crawling backwards through the hole in the fence, and then hopping off of your quasi-real horse-like creature And then the few moments of bliss riding your quasi-real horse-like creature through the forest. And then saying, man, it'll be a lot faster to get back to the house on a quasi-real horse-like creature. I can't wait to cast the spell.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite that far back. Just far back enough that, Seeker, you find yourself pulling you through the hole in the fence again. And, Alex, you find yourself drawing down aim on Aylesbury again. Both of the spells are still consumed. Except this time...
Did I see Aylesbury get picked up the second time?
No, the second time, Aylesbury seems none the wiser that anything crazy is happening, and just continues his poop.
No sound of gunshots to alert me that something's going down.
Well, Lucius, you flew up to the top of the house, yes?
Yeah.
You find on the top of the house, coming from the back of the house this time, I described for Florian when he did some investigation some broken roof tiles on the front outside of the window. You find similar broken roof tiles on the back of the house. And that's when you hear the gunshot from down near the kennel.
All right.
Notably, you don't feel a weird temporal pull and feel yourself rewinding as space moves around you.
Okay.
So what time are we at now? Are we at the time like before I would have webbed the creature or after?
Before.
Then I'm going to, knowing that I just got sucked back, attempt to chase back over there, only this time I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Back, you mean over there, meaning back towards where Aylesbury is?
Yeah.
His surface thoughts are mostly about how unpleasant it is to be pooping in the middle of this storm, but how much he's sure Lucius appreciates it.
Yeah. My hope was that the creature would come this way, but he's not this time. I'm just saying that's what I would have done.
Make an Arcana check.
Okay. That is a 10.
Having felt the same sensation as Alex did, you arrive at about the same conclusion. Some weird, funky time shenanigans are happening. You've been pulled backwards and rewound, but more information than that you don't have yet.
Okay. And I'm going to go over to Alex, and I'm going to say, it looks like we keep whatever memory we should have. We need to do something that'll give us information, even if it gets rewound.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it doesn't eat time, more like, it's like it vomits time. It makes extra time for you.
At this point, Lucius would fly down because he could still see the others outside.
Sure.
And he says, "Did you catch it? Did you see it? What was it?"
It vomited up some extra time at me, twice.
And Saker
Wait.
nods and says, "One's for me." We caught it, but then we didn't, if you get what we're saying.
Hold on.
Or rather,
hold on.
we caught it, but then we hadn't?
Back up. Back up for a second.
Right,
Did that
we
twice.
And Seeker high-fives Alex.
So you're saying that you guys saw this thing and then you unsaw it and then resaw it, but a different way?
That's pretty accurate, though the second time I didn't see it. I think it's actually using what we did the first time to its advantage.
Yeah, it seems like it learns, and then it, like us, and then it does something else instead.
I think it carried out its murder, whatever it might have been,
Oh no.
in the same place. And Lucius flies back. Lucius is gonna fly back up to the top of the house and peer inside the window.
No, the kittens are still fine!
So, Florian,
Yes.
the house is starting to come to life. As everybody's heard the scream, the servants are coming up the stairs. Nellie, notably in this loop, is not wet or sad, but everybody is on edge. And when you head up to the attic along with Mordecai and his ring of keys, you hear the banging and the insincere words, "Oh man, I sure hope Vladislav is okay," as Gus is trying to convince nobody at all.
Lucius is peering through the window.
I'm gonna head back to the kennels.
Okay.
And what does the scene look like? Mordecai opens the door.
About the same, except this time Vladislav is laying dead and murdered from 3 terrible stab wounds in the bed, not on a straw mat on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, looking in the kennels, you see the kennel where the kittens had been kept before you moved them.
Yep.
And parts like boards from the wall have been torn away, and straw on the ground has been strewn about, and it's obvious that something was in here searching for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Florian's expression is half interesting, very ponderous, but also very satisfied. Like, yes,
Gus is
This
knocking
was a
on the
good-
door.
this is a good outcome.
Gus
So-
is knocking on the door. Can you let me out, please? He has the key.
It's a good thing that the number 1 suspect has been exonerated.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's dead.
And he's very dead.
Yes.
That rules.
Like, for real, Florian, let me out of this room, please.
And after a few moments, Abner and Jimna appear behind you on the 3rd floor staircase, wondering at the noise. And Jimna is nursing the same wound that she had last loop.
Lucius flies down, lands on the balcony outside of his quarters, and then walks inside, shakes the rain off of him, and then comes upstairs and says, "Hell of a thing, eh?"
Abner, when he peers into the room and sees the body, says, "We should have dealt with that goblin when we had the chance," and starts stomping back downstairs.
Lucius intercedes.
How so?
I'll block his path and says, "It wasn't this goblin. It was something else." Once Seeker and Alexander get back inside, they'll be able to explain better than I could.
Are Seeker and Alexander coming back inside?
Yep.
Give me 1 second to look at something real quick.
Sure. Those of you who are outsider notice the storm is getting worse and worse and worse by the moment.
Yeah, I have something that I want to accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll catch up with you.
I'm going to head up there and then say, I'll try to investigate the body to see if I can find out what did this. And then I'm going to cast Identify. I want to find out what magic shit this guy has for the next time around.
On Vladislav?
Yeah. Identifying Vladislav's magic items.
Okay. He has his standard spell focus, which in his case is a small crystal clasp. It's an earring, but he carries it in his pocket. He doesn't actually wear it. And it has, when you look at the little crystal, you peer inside of it, it's like peering into an infinite space, into which you can see the now very familiar sigil of the flying pig.
I'll do a thumbs up at it.
Okay.
Put it down.
His amulet is a pretty standard piece of Warlock equipment. I don't have my DMG handy. I believe it's called Ring of Mind Shielding, which makes you immune to any kind of divination into your brain. And he has a Rod of the Pact Keeper. But that's all he's carrying.
Can I? So, Brick, there's something that the player, happen to know about the Ring of Mind Shielding that I would get from an Identify, but I want to ask you if it's true in this instance.
What?
Normally, if you die wearing a Ring of Mind Shielding, your soul enters the Ring of Mind Shielding.
That may or may not be the case here.
Then I'm going to attempt to communicate with it telepathically.
Make an Arcana check. Let's see if... Well, actually, don't make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Why does Seeker know this information?
Because I just cast Identify on the ring.
Right, but that didn't tell you anything. It didn't tell you whether there's a soul in there or not.
Oh, so I'm asking if I would find out that if this has the possibility of doing this. This is something that I knew as a player that I'm thinking I would find out from Identify. If it's not something I found out, that's fine. I'll take it back.
Yeah, no, meta knowledge is never good. When you cast Identify on the amulet, you get the
thought stuff.
It doesn't allow you to read his mind.
Got it. Okay.
There's also, looking at it very closely, there's a very tiny figure of Vladislav going, "Help me!"
That's how. No, okay.
Oh, that's how it works. Do you take the amulet?
Oh, I mean, I pocket everything.
Mordecai wonders if that's really necessary.
And I tell him that if you take a look at this rod right here, you can see that this owner was a powerful warlock, and I don't feel safe leaving magic items here on the body.
Mordecai suggests that they lock the magic items in the weapons cabinet downstairs before they know, until you know more about what has happened to poor Vladislav.
I say that seems like a good idea, but I seem to remember that weapons cabinet was broken into earlier today. Are you sure it's a safe place?
He seems to bristle a bit. He says, "Very well. There is a safe in the basement."
And Seeker nods at that and says, that sounds like an excellent idea.
Are we doing anything different tonight that didn't happen the previous loop? Breaking into pairs, investigating various places, things of this nature?
Sure. I do have a suggestion for Seeker,
Mhm.
if we can get a moment. So, like, if you're going to put that stuff in the safe, go down there with him and then, like, detect thoughts on him and see if you can't get the code.
Oh, buddy. If you thought that there was a reason why Seeker immediately went, yeah, let's go to the safe.
Yeah, no, I figured,
Okay.
but I wanted to be sure.
So a couple of things happen. Florian, go ahead.
I mean, do we share the information with each other? We know that there's some time creature that's fucking around and breaking in, and like we share that information between the party.
Yeah. I mean, I'll share it when I get back inside.
So
do we tell the other guests and the serving staff here? That's the other question.
no, because we said we would sound like crazy people. Is everybody in the same state? So, as they were last night in terms of, because I recall Mrs. Bobkins had she said she burnt her hand.
No, Jimna, the dwarf woman.
Okay, I thought it was Mrs. Bobkins.
Here are the differences from last night then. First, you're taken down to the basement level, where in this wine cellar, where you were in yesterday, one of the barrels is rolled aside to reveal a large iron safe built directly into the foundation of the house. And Mordecai explains that in times past, when the forest was more routinely traveled by men of extreme wealth, kings of old, or high priests and whatnot, occasionally they would have they would make use of this safe to put their valuables in. But he hasn't had to make use of it for many years. And Seeker, you're using Detect Thoughts to get the combination?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the combination of the safe now.
Is there anything in the safe but the ring?
No.
Or the ring and the
When he opens it up, it's
rod?
completely empty.
Okay.
And he places the three objects inside: his spell focus, the rod, and the amulet. And then closes it and spins the dial. Another difference. So Toriath still returns a little while later through the front door and is, again, kind of surprised to see everybody's awake and is astounded to hear what's happened. A major difference from the previous loop is Biscuits never comes back.
Where was he last time?
Last loop, he arrived back at the house with the mutilated kittens. You guys found him out in the kennels and you brought him back.
All right.
Huh.
Told
And
you
what
guys,
about-
it's biscuits. Telling you.
Oh my gosh.
What about Clown Boy? What's his name? Ash
Aylesbury. That's the other
Aylesbury?
major difference. Is eventually he comes back to the house and tries to get back up into his bed. And unless somebody does something, he doesn't even notice anything in particular is wrong. He just tries to sneak upstairs into his bed and not bother anybody. But he's also not a broken man.
I mean, he is. He's a clown.
Well, now I know why, because he didn't go face to face with that thing. Previous time he went face to face with that.
Where does Biscuit sleep?
Downstairs in the basement here, in the servants' quarters, room 25 is like a general storage area, but it's also sectioned off. So Biscuits has a sleeping quarters, and so does Nelly.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to toss Biscuit's room.
And you find some trinkets and a couple of copper coins and some gross things that would have been of general interest to a 10-year-old boy that he found out in the forest.
Okay.
But nothing actually out of the ordinary. Sitting on a table in the area, you do see the weapons that were brought down. In this loop, they were brought down a lot later for cleaning than the previous day. So in this loop, the weapons, the work hasn't even begun yet. Not a single one has been polished. The knives are still missing.
All of the ones that were missing last time?
There were 3 knives in the case. 2 of them were missing in the last loop, and those same 2 are missing this loop.
Huh, so where's the knife that she would have taken? And that's what I'm going to go looking for.
Okay. Where are you looking?
I'm going to use locate object and look for daggers.
And for daggers?
Yeah.
I mean, you would just find the ones in this room then.
Then I'm going to like stand in the opposite furthest part of the house and then do it again. And if I still find the ones in that room, then I'm going to go, okay, so the dagger is still somehow missing. That's all I'm trying to get from it.
In the other half of the house, most likely you would find the ones in Aylesbury's trunk.
Okay.
Which, if you go up and... Well, are you going to go root through his things?
Yeah, what the heck?
He hasn't fallen back asleep yet, and he's clutching his blanket really close around him because he's still wet from having been outside. He looks over and sees that the bed next to him is empty, and looks at Seeker, worrying at the now replaced lock on the front of the chest. Can I help you? With
And
something?
I say, someone was murdered using daggers, and I found some daggers in your room. I just want to get a look at them and make sure they weren't the murder weapon.
His eyes get really big. Murdered, you say?
And Seeker nods,
Who? What happened?
and I say, I prefer not to say until I see the dagger.
And he immediately throws the blanket up over his head, and you can hear hushed and muffled prayers being spoken underneath the blanket.
So the chest is locked?
Yes, it has a padlock on the front of it. In the previous loop, it was laying on the floor, but when you come up this time, it's locked in place.
And Seeker says, can I have the key?
Wait a minute. I'm not a suspect, am I? I haven't even been in my room for part of the night. And you see the blanket part, and his little sheepish, wet face peers out and says, I've been terribly ill in the, lower extremities.
And Seeker nods and says, then the fastest way to deal with this is just show me that the knives are there.
He fishes out the key to the trunk and hands it to you.
And I'll pop it open.
And everything that I've described in the trunk is still there. And the 2 knives are inside of his leather knife case, but they're dirty and wet.
But any blood?
Not that you can see, no.
Okay. And having gotten the story from Alex, I'll close it up and says, alright.
Okay. At this point, let's have everybody make a wisdom saving throw.
That's a 0?
A 0. That's not very good.
Is this against magic?
Oh, yes. It's against the
9.
most infinite magic.
Does that mean he gets infinite advantage?
It's 17.
Okay.
8 on me.
Okay. Seeker.
Yeah.
As you're dragging Aylesbury's knives out of their case, you hear the thud next to you as he slumped forward onto the bed and rolled off onto the floor, unconscious. And those of you downstairs and in other areas of the house notice the other servants one by one drop. And then you as well, one by one. And Alex, you're the last one this time. And the lightning outside is so thick and so loud that for a moment it just comes through all of the windows of the house as a brilliant, bright wall of illumination. And then you wake up once again in the bed to a light rapping on the door and a woman's voice on the other side. Breakfast will be served shortly if you have a mind to come down.
Do my spells come back? Is this the end of a long rest?
All your spells come back, yes.
Okay.
Seeker.
Yeah.
Your rolls for the day are 5 and 20.
Oh, those are good rolls. One high one, one low one.
I love it.
Lucky day.
And
Alex just bolts straight up and looks at Gus. I wasn't dead that time, right? Like I didn't
No.
miss one?
No, you're
Okay.
fine. You're fine.
You weren't dead the last time either, so neither of us missed one.
all of you retain the memories of both previous loops.
Right. So we need to keep a better better eye on biscuits.
Lucius sits up, comes back inside, back upstairs. Florian.
Do you think... I mean, there's two things... I want to get a better look at that woman's hand after it's burned. I think between the two of us, we could analyze most normal chemical burns. See if there's anything weird going on with that. Also, don't you think that that's a bit of an extreme allergy to cats?
Right, yeah. So, do we have... how much nonsense does Seeker have to resummon his familiar?
What do you mean? Oh, if I need to get rid of it?
Well, like if it dies and you need to resummon
Yeah, I've
it.
got 4.
You got 4. Can I have one to use summon familiar so we have 2 familiars flying around?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
It takes a long time to cast, though. It's not just a single action cast. Is it?
Right.
It's like an hour.
Yeah, it takes like an hour.
ritual.
Okay.
Where
I can do the same as well.
Mordecai?
I've actually got my familiar summoned, or it's just in a little Anshoon's just in the hidden familiar space.
Yeah.
As soon as Gus and I both verify that we weren't dead at the end of the last loop, I throw the window open, jump out, feather fall down, and head over to the kennels.
When you throw the window open, you notice that there's no damage to the roof tiles outside.
Yeah.
You feather fall down to the ground and head over to the kennels.
Yep.
This happening before breakfast. What are morning actions for everybody else?
Gus is going to...
Actually, before morning, let's say like immediate before breakfast actions.
Gus is going to find Seeker to get some mats to summon a familiar, so he can do that.
Yeah, I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to say, hey, do you want to ambush that guy before he gets here and take his amulet away and wreck his mind?
Like you talking about, like lay in wait like bandits and
Yeah.
then beat the crap out. Yes.
What is Florian doing before breakfast? I assume Florian would be there for this discussion because he's in Seeker's room. Which is, by the way, the doll collection room.
So Florian is very interested in how much of the timeline he can fuck around with. So
Of course.
he wants to find Mordecai right now.
Anything to make my life difficult, right?
Yes. Sorry, but yes.
Alex, you're heading over to the kennels first thing?
Yep. Not even taking the stairs.
And what's Lucius doing first thing?
Lucius is going to... You know what? I'm gonna hang out with Seeker and Gustavus.
Okay.
Lucius, while you're hanging out, as Alex is walking into the kennel, you get a sending on the sending stone. And it is, let's get the information out of that guy this time, then kill him on the next loop.
Like, are we just deciding to kill him just because it'll be cathartic, or are we hoping to like him to be dead while we go into like the final loop? Because like I'm against that.
I'm not
I just-
saying we kill him. I just want that amulet away from him so I can figure out what the heck is going on.
I'm just suggesting, like, we can, he offered this trade of information. Let's just do it and let the time loop happen again.
Right.
No cost to us.
Okay. Heading to the kennel first thing in the morning. Biscuits is out there doing some basic... This is even before the kittens were moved out here.
Yep.
And when he sees that you're up and around, he immediately dashes to the front door of the kennel, which is open, and throws his arms out, one to either side. He says, "Oh, sorry, guests aren't allowed in the kennels."
Since when?
Make a perception check.
Sure. It's a 3. Yep.
A 3, okay.
It's almost a 16.
But Scrappy has a perception.
Oh, okay. Have Scrappy make it then. Oh, actually, Scrappy doesn't need to make it, because Scrappy's been here the whole time. Biscuits is out there with Stuggett, tending to some of the animals. So he's trying to keep you from learning about Stuggett.
Oh, okay. It's okay, I know about the goblin, we won't tell anyone.
He looks at you wide-eyed. Well, I didn't say nothing.
You didn't, I just told you, we know we won't tell anyone. I'm coming in.
How do you... And you kind of brush past him into the kennel, and you don't have any clue where Stuggett is.
Mhm.
If goblins are good at anything, they're good at hiding. And he just keeps
Go
stammering
get the
out.
kittens
He
and
just,
bring them into the stall.
how do you know
them
about
in.
the kittens?
Don't tell anyone that I know about the kittens or the goblin, right?
Are you
Are we okay on
Are you
that?
gonna hurt me?
Not if you don't tell anyone.
All right, mister. And he dashes
We
off.
should've coordinated this better.
No, we shouldn't have.
No, listen, it's a trial and error process eventually.
How many tries did it take, Bill Murray? Florian.
Yeah.
This early in the morning, Mordecai is bringing tableware and setting the table in room number 5. When you come downstairs, it's good morning.
Yes, good morning.
The morning meal will be served presently, and he motions to one of the chairs.
Yes, good morning again. Biscuits is keeping kittens in his room.
He scowls his face and says, "Please, I beg your pardon," and turns and moves very quickly off in the direction of the servants' quarters, leaving you and Nellie alone in the room. Nellie is assisting him in... I'm sorry, no, just you're alone in the room at this point.
You cop.
And,
Fucking cop. Yeah, no.
and once he leaves the room,
What are you gonna do? Seduce Nelly now?
Nellie's not here. Nellie, at this point, is downstairs getting the food together to bring up.
I wish Florian had proficiency in lockpicking, but he doesn't.
Does he have proficiency in just breaking the glass door of a curio cabinet?
I mean, he could.
Does he know the knock spell?
He definitely doesn't. What spells?
This is just the campaign for the next 50 sessions. Like, we're going to come back.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You say that as though we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, I got nothing that'll help here. So instead, then he'll go to Mrs. Bicklesby, and whom I assume is the kitchen, whom I'm assuming is preparing the morning meal.
Well, at this point in the
Yes,
morning,
yes.
the meal has been prepared, and they're just about to bring it upstairs and serve it.
Okay.
Mordecai
Where is
was...
Mrs. Bucket?
Right now, she's about to... oh, you know what? No, the kitchen's on the first floor, so she would be back behind this door.
How many loops before Florian goes full genocide route? Just to see out of curiosity.
He's only escalating right now. It's fine.
He's gonna wake up. He's like, you know what? This loop, I'm collecting kneecaps. It's in a big bag.
No one gets a kneecap. No keep kneecaps but our kneecaps.
And so he So he'll go visit Mrs. Bobkins and says, "Is there anything you can do or take for your cat allergy?"
Well, when you poke your head in the door, Mrs. Bobkins tries to shoo you out of the kitchen and says, "Oh, you needn't trouble yourself. We don't need any help in here. You're a guest. Please sit. Make yourself comfortable." Then you mention her cat allergy, and she says, "Oh, dearie, how did you know about that?"
I experience many truths, and
Yep, I know.
let's just say that there is a truth overload going on right now.
She says, "Well, in any event, it's not a bother because there aren't any cats in the house. Don't be silly." And at this
Let's
point,
assume that there are. Let's assume that maybe one child has been keeping to himself a number of kittens because he enjoys them so much.
and Nellie blurts out, "If that's the case, Mordecai is going to box his ears." At this point, the dwarves are coming down the stairs to breakfast. Mrs. Bobkins is arranging some food on a tray to take up to Toriath.
I'm glad none of us are Tabaxi. Do they turn Tabaxi away?
So, Seeker, Gus, and Lucius, you are plotting against Vlad. What is the plot against poor Vladislav, who has done nothing wrong?
I think we scope out the road he's on with clairvoyance, and then when he crosses it, we all jump him. All 5 of us.
How many invisibility? The only one that has invisibility is Lucius, correct?
No, I don't.
My familiar has seen through invisibility.
Alex
Oh,
has
invisibility
invisibility.
to spell?
Oh, you have fly. Yeah.
I have fly.
Wait, do you see getting invisibility or making things uninvisible?
No, making things invisible. Like
That's
you just
me.
stand there.
Yeah, 3
Right.
of us have that.
We all invisible and then we jump him. We just like surprise round him, like alpha strike.
I do not have the invisibility spell.
Right, but three of us do. We've got plenty of invisibility to go around because you
And
can
you have
cast it at a
fly.
higher. Yeah, you can cast it at a higher level to target more than one creature.
Well, see, here's the thing: is I don't know what's going to happen if he's removed from the equation.
Let's find out.
It's the whole point of this loop.
It's time for science.
He's got an amulet that prevents people from going into his mind. I want to know what he's got in there.
And
Well,
his amulet.
you can't kill him and still do that, though. That's the problem.
I said jump him.
We're
Why is
not
no one
gonna kill-
listening to me?
We're not gonna
Lucius
kill him.
Lucius looks at Gustavus and says, "I don't think we're all on the same page here regarding that."
I can beat him into unconscious.
Where is this
It's fine.
conversation taking place? Because remember, there's a lot of hustle and bustle around the house. Servants coming and going.
In Gustavus's room.
So up in the attic?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Like we would. Like I won't kill him.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of got that out of my system last loop.
Holy crap.
So I'm good for a while.
All right. Let's just hope that lasts so long enough for us to get the information we need out of this guy.
So I'll
Yeah,
tell you
'cause
what.
I really want to know where the little girl was, whose name I can't remember.
Is
'Cause
everybody...
she's so important.
Oh, her name was Kana. I remember it.
Kana.
Because she's
I
very
was
important.
thinking Kata for some reason.
So is everybody on board with the wait on the road invisible and jump Vladislav as he arrives plan?
Florian is not.
No.
I think it's a good plan, but I think it's a good plan for the next loop. I think this loop, we should make whatever deal we can with him to get information out of him.
He always wants to wait until tomorrow. We're not
Really?
going to get any information from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm on board.
Okay, Florian, as the dissenting voice.
What's your issue with the plan, Florian?
Florian's big issue with the plan right now is that there's other ways we can fuck around with this time loop that are more beneficial.
You just want to mess with people.
He just wants to make my job hard.
He There's
I'm gonna be
not a
honest
lot
with
of
you all.
truth to be derived from jumping Vladislav.
Here's my perspective on this, all of you. I don't think Vladislav is involved in this time loop.
No, I don't
No.
either. But
I don't
like,
either.
All right.
However, I think Vladislav is our most important problem that is outside of this time loop. And working under the assumption that we can solve this time loop, why not use the time loop to our advantage?
Are you saying manipulate the time loop to where he's the one who's dead and we get out of it?
No, I'm saying we use the time loop to jump him, we take that amulet from him, find out what his plans are, without having to make him any horrible promises that end up with children killed. And then, if tomorrow the whole thing gets reset, we know the information, everything's the same.
Also, if he has like a spell that kills one of us with a word, hopefully, that gets rewound too.
Yeah, it's the... This time loop could be very advantageous to us.
Okay.
Plus, I think it's probably the kid. And then Seeker just kind of slaps his
See,
hands
I think
together.
it's-
It's probably the
I
kid.
think it's the kid too, and I think we should agitate and annoy him as much as possible.
Oh, I don't
So-
think it's intentional. I
Yeah,
think
I
he's
think-
like a were-time creature.
where time creature. Here's what I think. Like, and I'll chime in. So, like, going from what we've seen, I think it is also biscuits, but I think there's something about those weapons, and then like he's like something's causing him to.
And
Oh,
Mrs.
maybe one of
Bobkin
the
steps in
daggers,
the
like,
room
hurts
behind you.
when he
Yeah.
goes
Says,
to try and clean it.
Yeah.
You all are very late for breakfast. It's going to be gone if you don't get down quickly.
Hey,
Just
biscuits.
coffee for me, thanks.
Yeah. Hey, biscuits. Have you ever seen a spider dance? And I'll turn around and I pull my familiar. It's a little spider, and it's like doing a little dance.
Biscuits isn't here.
Oh, I thought it was biscuits.
No, that was Mrs. Bobkins.
Oh, well then never mind.
She shrieks.
She turns and says, well,
screams.
there's still some left as of now. Good coffee, too. And
Thank you.
she starts to head down the stairs, and she says, oh, feeling a little faint. I should just...
And Seeker runs down the stairs the second she starts saying that.
Make a dex check.
Uh-huh.
I told you. We've experienced time 3 times now when people are not listening to me. This is very frustrating.
This is where the butterfly effect starts to happen. Which rules are we playing by? You guys know. Are we on Groundhog Day? Are we on Edge of Tomorrow? You have no idea, do you?
That's 7.
I'll
7.
talk about that after the session.
Seeker.
Yeah.
You run forward to try to catch her, but unfortunately she faints at the top of the stairs. And you hear the loud, horrible, bone-breaking clatter of a woman falling all the way down 3 stories of a spiral staircase.
Oh no.
And Seeker just kind of looks down at the stairs. And then just says, alright, this one's a wash.
And that's where we'll
I
call
told
it for
her
the day.
That she's going to experience this, and she did not listen to me.
When we come back next week, we'll pick up at, is Mrs. Bobkins alive for this loop?
Okay, this one's a wash.
So,
Ah,
at the outset of the campaign, I like to ask my players to give me like an adventure idea they want to play. And one of these numpties said Groundhog Day,
That was me.
and another one said a murder mystery in a haunted house.
That sounds like me.
Porque no los dos.
So, and now you've killed Mrs. Bobkins. I hope you're all very happy with yourselves.
We told her.
For future reference, whenever anyone asks how we know anything, just remember, we travel with the world's most powerful diviner.
I am the seeker in the dark.
Yeah. Magic, and then we'll do jazz hands.
Yeah, you know how it is. Let's give out some blips for this session.
How much of the XP is Mrs. Bobkins worth?
I think commoners are worth 0.
You gotta kill a lot of commoners.
All right, so go ahead and think about how you'd like to make a case for your personal blips. I'm going to step away for just 2 minutes, and I'll be right back.
Who was the most creative today?
Uh,
I want to say Florian because he's the one who's digging the most into this
Right,
this whole
he's-
concept of time loops.
he's the Florian has indeed been the most investigative of this.
For
I will
what it's
say.
worth, he is on the verge of breaking. This is too much truth for him.
All right, who furthered
Throw
the
that
party's
out there.
goals the most today?
I don't know. Everybody kind of did a lot into everyone went different directions, like to poking at the time loop.
I got that dude killed. Come on.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Bobkins?
No, that dude.
Party
Oh,
goals.
Vladislav.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
hate that guy. He died in a time loop, therefore we win somewhat. That
Listen,
is a goal.
that is a memory that we will cherish for
We
the
will
rest
cherish
of.
for the rest of our lives.
So, okay, I'm okay with that one.
Yeah. Who's a badass today?
I'm going to say, Alex for guarding the kittens.
I was gonna say Alex for just walking in, being like, "Yeah, we know about the goblin. We know about that. We know about this. We know all this stuff."
It's fine. Don't worry.
And then intangible.
Oh, Lucius for accepting that slap on the ass without calling HR.
That's bribery.
That's a little bit of bribery. Yeah, no joke.
That was a good time to put my headphones back on. All right. Who wants to make a case for some blips today? Actually, everybody's got 6 blips, so any blips that you earn are going to get rolled over. Blips are worth... We're level 7 now, is that correct?
Yeah.
Somebody is.
Okay, the blips
Yeah.
are worth 366.
Let me write that down.
All right.
I'll ask at the end of
I
this.
can go.
Go.
All right. Personality traits. Chaotic good. Good is only taking from those that can afford it. Chaos is taking them for all they're worth. For getting the safe combo out of Mordecai.
Which you still know.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Ideals, opportunity is everywhere if you can see it. For, guys, we should use this time loop to our advantage.
Go beat up the guy.
Uh-huh. And anybody can be fooled except for me. Or finding out about a goblin in the basement and then telling no one, because they would just mess it up. Leading to it going horribly wrong.
Poor Stuggett. You guys are going to feel dumb when it turns out Stuggett's the actual murderer.
I mean, you're right.
That's an easy solve.
Because he's just a goblin.
We just wait for the timeline to start over and we tell the dwarf there's a goblin downstairs.
He's an abyssal time lord pretending to be a goblin. Who's next?
Where's his TARDIS? I'll go. Neutral good. I must be a benefactor to strive and leave things in a better state than I found it. For my setting aside my any ability to lay hands on Vladislav
Mhm.
in the last loop for information about Kana.
Okay. Which you got. You
it-
know where Kana is now.
Well, we know she's with Skada, but we don't know where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Ideals, my companions are my support structure, and I must do what I can to protect them from themselves. For jumping out of the window after Alex's murder,
Okay.
and I didn't get any. I could have drank, but that would have been wrong because it was in a locked cabinet. So no
Mhm.
drunk Gus. Gus is a good boy.
Gus is a good boy.
Unless we're talking about like mugging Vladislav on the side of the road.
Then he's
In
not.
which case-
All right. And who's next?
Oh, the video.
In the video. And who's next?
Florian will go.
Florian, what do you have for me?
True neutral. Sometimes you have laws, but laws are also restrictive. Sometimes you have to be good, but there's no way to define good. For being the only one not on board with jumping Vladislav.
Is it because it's unlawful or because it's hard to define whether jumping him is good?
It's hard to define whether or not jumping him is good because Seeker makes a really, 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 really good point.
Gus just wants to do it for violence sake.
I mean, you got this guy. He's murdered those townsfolk. Now you guys get to kill him every day for eternity.
I think that's how you become a pit lord.
Florian, what else do you have?
There are infinite truths. We must experience as many as we can and figure out their validity.
Well,
For screwing around with the time, whatever time loop we're in.
well, this time you experienced an old lady falling down the stairs and breaking her back.
And he cannot believe that she just ignored him. Like, oh, we've gone through this loop now 3 times, and you've ignored. Like, we've told you what was going to happen, and you've still ignored me. That is unbelievable.
All right, so we're at Edge of Tomorrow.
And
Actually, no, we're in Happy Death Day.
I guess that's it.
Okay,
I can't think of anything where Florian believed a lie. So
who's next?
I'll go.
Lucius, what do you have?
I've got my alignment, lawful neutral, take place in society, work well for your fellow people, take care of your own. For being on board with Vladislav's plan to pair off to make sure that nobody ended up alone, because he was very much alone with Vladislav, who could have easily killed him, probably.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
He's got a rod of the pack keeper. Like that's a leg up on Lucius as it is.
The way I see it, after you kill him, you have a Rod of the Pack Keeper.
It's true, but it's locked in a safe right now. Or no, it's not.
No, it's
It's not. God.
Also, we would know the combination of that safe even if it was.
Here's what we do. We call it the flying pig and tell him he had a soul and it got taken away from him by time bullshit, and then we let the whole thing take care of itself.
What else you got,
Flying
Lucius?
Pig's dead. I have knowledge is paramount for being very inquisitive into trying to suss out where he can lean on this reality altering time bullshit. He's trying to figure out where he can stick his nose into it and just try to figure out as much as he can about it.
Okay.
And then I have double or nothing for offering to play Vladislav cards.
And what does Alex
When
have
you
for
talk-
me?
When you talked about games of chance.
Only one I've got this time is I'm sure we can handle this for trying to shoot the space-time anomaly.
Shoot the space-time anomaly.
Who are you, Captain Janeway?
We have one blip for the most creative solution to a problem this session. I'm going to veto pushing the old lady down the stairs. That wasn't very nice.
No, that was very mean.
Well, we wouldn't have given it to gravity anyway.
Well, what were the kittens' names?
Gravity.
and
Crap.
Schmavity.
So we had the most creative solution to a problem.
Was that Florian for his poking of the space-time continuum? I think it was.
That sounds right to me.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, I thought that was for intangible? Or what do we think it's something else for intangible?
No, intangible was you getting slapped on the butt.
Oh, right.
So we're awarding the intangibles to the sexual harassment that occurred in this session.
Yes.
For
Yes,
him
we
looking
are.
the other way, yes. Not reporting Gus to HR.
Lucius, listen. When you look the
Yeah.
other way on sexual harassment, it's never going to get better. You don't have
No,
to take
I
it.
know. I don't.
Ah, that was
Okay.
unpleasant. We have one blip for who furthered the party's goals the most this session.
We gave that to Seeker for getting Vladislav killed.
Right, yes. That's going to be like a memory that Gus treasures for the rest of his life. Just sitting in the other room listening to him scream. Like, oh, yes, no. How awful.
No, murder.
Who was the badass this session?
That was...
That was Alex.
Yeah,
Alex for shooting the space-time anomaly.
For shooting the space-time anomaly?
I think
For me, it was just being very bold about knowing everything all the time to the kid. Like, yeah, I know that. I know this.
And Florian has our straw poll for the week. So all of these are going to roll over. Alex has 2 blips. They're worth 366. Florian has 4. Gus has 3. Lucius has 4. And Seeker has 4. And it's a good time to stop because I just heard thunder outside and it's starting to rain.
I told you! I freaking told you.
All right, so unless the earthquake kills me, that's
Yeah.
definitely coming this week. We'll be back next Sunday for another loop, and it's just going to be... I think we can do one loop a week for the next 50 or 60 weeks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sounds good to me.
All right, thanks for playing, kids. I'll see everybody next week.